Welcome to another episode of One Door at a Time, Concentric Educational Solutions podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining in. This is a special podcast. I know I say this every time, but this is 25 years in the making. This is all my brothers from Epsilon Chapter Star of the East. What y'all doing? Thank you very much. All right. So 25 years ago, 22 brothers decided to get together in a very audacious perspective of pledging Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Spring '98.
How come y'all ain't bowed?
Ooh, I don't know. So there was a lot of, it was a large journey. It was a heavy journey, and we all came together. But it's really hard to get 22 people together. But we have the majority of us here today, and I just want to talk about our journey, not just through the frats, but our journey in life and what all the things that we have experienced and accomplished. So tune in with us, understand all the challenges we have been through, all the great things that we have accomplished, and everything that we have learned. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start it with everybody, starting with Epheus. Introduce yourself, and how did you come to Kappa and why? So Epheus Davis, which is interesting because we know each other much longer than everybody else.
All right, cool. So I'm Epheus Davis III, a native of Delaware, and I came to know Kappa through the Guy Right program, which is the community service-based program that Kappa Alpha Psi has nationwide with Wilmington alumni in Delaware. So that was my first introduction into Kappa, or wanting to be a brother.
No, good.
Hello, my name is Jack Drummond, and I came to be.
Lincoln.
Oh, am I not?
Yeah.
The first best, Mr. Lincoln, actually. And the way that I became, I guess, the way that I knew about Kappa was being introduced on the campus. I actually never wanted to be a Kappa. I actually wanted to be a groove. And I'm saying that publicly. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I got to learn about the tenets and all that good stuff. I actually did not like what Greeks did to African people originally. And then after reading and becoming more knowledgeable and that sort of thing, and really sort of engaging with some of the brothers, I felt that it was the right thing for me to do. So Jack Drummond, Spring '98, Epsilon. Epsilon Chapter Star of the East.
Yes.
I'm about to be organic, I guess. That's what we doing.
Yep.
So with that being said, Nerd Name Muhammad, Dino, Epsilon, Spring '98, number 13. I was line president. So I put up with all of their organic BS. Is that? Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can say BS?
Can't say that.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say their organic BS.
Vote for that?
How? Yeah. It was unanimous.
Was it?
Yeah. I took a lot.
I stand, but go ahead.
Okay. With that being said, I came to Kappa because my first introduction to Kappa was really because my sister was a sweetheart at Lincoln University, believe it or not.
How'd that work?
And it didn't work too well with me during the process because I paid for it along the way. But with that being said, once I came to find out, I actually talked to some of the older mentors. My father, he didn't want anything to do with Greek, but my older mentors, and I talked to them. I wondered what made me, why I was so drawn to them. The majority of them was Kappas. So I literally did my research on every single organization, except for Groove. Every single organization, and what Kappa stood for, achievement in every field of human endeavors, is what I was all about, because no matter what, I was going to get it, no matter what it was. So that's where I'm at. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the guy that brought me in, pretty much.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
So should I go?
Yeah, you should.
No, yeah, you should go.
All right.
No,
So-
so let me introduce you properly.
Okay.
So most organizations have a dean and ADP. The dean is the head of pledges, and the ADP is the assistant dean of pledges. We have a very unique situation in that our line name is Xenogenesis, right? Two parents, right?
A unique blend.
A unique blend of two parents, right? Epsilon chapter and then New Z.
Yep.
So we went to New Z because we wanted that experience of pledging, and there were some situations.
Membership intake process.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And Earl decided to become our ADP, and in many ways has been our dean, right? For whatever reason. So New Z has a special place in our heart in Epsilon.
And a permanent place in our history.
Yeah.
Very true. Unlike it's very unique. So Earl.
All right. Well, I am Earl Thomas Shorter III.
Yes.
I am an ace from the spring of 1994 line of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the New Z chapter, the Eye of the Bloody Triangle. And I want to shout out my line brother, Brian Joseph Taylor. But look,
There was only two of you?
it was only two of us.
Damn.
Yeah.
I would have dropped.
Man, listen. It was, and kind of getting to what you just said. When I was introduced to Kappa, I wanted to be a noob since like junior year in high school, senior year in high school. And I didn't know much about Greek life. My mother, my sister, and I, we went to college at the same time. So nobody else had gone to school to a 4-year college and completed that in my family. And so my sister, my mom, and I were in school at the same time. My sister had pledged AKA at the University of Maryland, College Park. There were only a couple of schools that, if you grew up in Baltimore, that you really wanted to go to. College Park was one of them. But when I got to College Park, it's a huge black population. So I thought, man, if I go up there, I'm gonna have to pledge hard because it's all these black folks. I'm gonna go to University of Delaware. They can't be that bad. Boy, was I wrong. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that part. But no, I wanted to be a noob for a while. And when these gentlemen approached us about having they wanted to learn more about the organization throughout their process. And they were already members. And they just really wanted to get more information. So we needed to make sure that we held true to the traditions of Epsilon, a single letter chapter. Like, y'all keep showering me with all this honor about helping you all learn what you learned, but it was the honor was mine. Because not only did they have enough integrity and character to come together and say, hey, look, we want to learn this. So we wanted to make sure that the traditions of Epsilon were upheld, but yet add a little New Z flair. So at some point, these brothers learned how to quick step. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they learned how to quick step at some point. So we're going to have to get back on that. We're going to have to reintroduce it to Epsilon, something. I mean.
Did it stop? We stopped doing it?
Yeah, yo, man, listen.
That was pounds ago.
Yeah. So we're gonna have Dave do a demonstration at the end of the podcast.
No mas.
So all right, I'm gonna pass it over to Dave.
No, and here's what's interesting. We share a very connected history that we'll talk about later on.
We can't do that.
No, we got to. We got to.
We can't do
So I'm gonna pass it to.
we can't.
I'm gonna pass it to my number 4. Reg, go ahead, Reg.
Black socks.
What the? I just got finished talking about them black socks. Anyway, so just being one of my family to first go to college, I had no real concept of fraternity. And so when I got to Lincoln University and saw the Epsilon chapter in 1994, I was unimpressed. But
Unimpressed?
unimpressed.
Okay.
But it wasn't until I got to sort of like tour different campuses, whether it be New Z, whether it be Cheney. I started to see that there was an atmosphere that I wanted to be a part of. It just didn't permeate at Lincoln at the time.
Okay.
And so instead of being a part of an organization and trying to have that organization make you, I felt like at Epsilon, it was me to make Epsilon the way that I thought that it should be.
The second time?
The second time.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta get clarity on that.
And so but yeah, like it was a very rewarding yet risky, and like there was a lot of variables in the air, but it just played out so beautifully that even 25 years later, I can call
25.
each 22 members of my line my brothers.
Real talk. Real talk.
What, can you elaborate on the second time? What was that?
I shall not.
For content, let me just say. Oh, wait a minute. For content, let me just say that when Spring '98 came, we was a resurrection line. So that means that the fraternity was, in a sense, suspended, and they wanted to get rid of everybody that was on the yard for whatever reason. I think they might not have been financially cleared. We got to say that. They wasn't financially cleared by the bursar. So they were all suspended because of that. And with that being said, Spring '98 just happened to be the resurrection line, which had us seek out the assistance of New Z.
Yes.
To get, the actual training or membership intake process that we knew we deserved.
That was actually the second question. Fred, you were next.
Suck up fit.
My roommate.
That's my back right there. That's my back.
Yes.
Dino's back, my roommate, but we won't talk about why you let people in.
Yeah, we are definitely not going to talk about that. And I will say that there's a whole story behind that. Maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, Fred Vincent, Spring '98, number 14. So my journey from to actually join Kappa, I think, was a little bit unique because of a little bit of my background. I mean, I really didn't know anything or a lot about Kappa. I grew up in the Poconos in Tannersville, PA. Although,
Where's that?
shout out to Pocono Mountain High School. Shout out to Montgomery
That's a very
School.
deep black population, right?
No, it's not. So and it's really unique because at one point when I was in elementary school, I think I was the only black kid in the whole entire school. There might have been another one, but I definitely know at one point I was the only one in my class. So I actually got introduced to Kappa because East Stroudsburg University had a chapter up there. It was Mu Beta, and so I actually saw somebody in the parking lot and they had a Kappa cane. I had no idea what it was. It wasn't until I saw Biz Marquis' video.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. That I was like, oh my gosh. That's the cane that I saw when I was a kid.
Yes.
And I was like, I think I want to do that whenever I go to college. So, just like actually learning about it and things. But the funny thing is that y'all don't know this, but I wasn't supposed to be on your line. So when we filled out our applications, I put Charles Sutton's name as a reference. Chuck didn't know who I was. Wow. So Dwayne got his letter. And I was like, and he came to my room. He was like, hey, I got my letter. He was like, they accepted me. And I was like, and he asked me, did you get a letter? I said, no. So I was like, okay. I didn't know who to go to. I was like, Chuck was the only person on campus. I was like, let me go talk to Chuck. Went to his office, knocked on his door. He was like, can I help you? He was like, yeah, my name is Fred Vincent. He was like, that's who you are. He literally had my application sitting on his desk. Wow. He asked me, he was like, who do you think you are putting my name on an application?
To get into the frat.
He literally said, I do not know who you are. Wow. I had to give him my literal life story and tell him, I want this. I don't care what I have to do. I want this.
Fraud.
We're not going to talk about what happened to our bricks.
Oh my.
So Chuck appears later on in our story
And we'll get to that.
as the villain.
So needless to say, we definitely had a very long conversation, which was very eye-opening to me, because I definitely took a lot of things for granted. And I don't know if it was because of my background, myself being naive, but I just assumed that, I'm Fred Vinson. I could just get away with putting anybody's name, on this piece of paper.
Look at that.
Yeah.
The privilege of the
You had your hand all in the pot, didn't he?
Right.
Those
But
privileges.
I will definitely say that this whole experience has been definitely a very rewarding experience. I stayed at Dino's house, stayed at Corey's house. Should I help pay for your
Probably.
yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. So
Oh, y'all stayed at mine.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we watched Wendy.
Teron.
Did you ever cross, Fred?
I did.
Yeah,
I did with
Oh.
you, Jack Drummond.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations. Very nice.
So out of everybody, I've known Ephesus the longest. No, actually, I've known Teron the longest, and then Ephesus. I know Ephesus since '94, Teron since 1990, Glasgow High School.
Wow.
So Teron,
This is
Doctor.
this
No,
is
no.
good.
Let's put respect on this. Doctor Teron Richardson.
I'm just going to first say that I would never have become a doctor or got my master's if it wasn't for y'all. And I always say thank you to all of y'all. And I still get teary-eyed because 25 years later, I still always talk about how I met all of y'all. Because I was playing basketball and I didn't know nobody on the line, but I got a chance to know all of you. And you've given me, what I needed to be successful. So I thank all of y'all because I learned about brotherhood, I learned about family, and I learned about sharing. And they were all things that were foreign to me because of where I grew up at. If, pledging and even in going to college, that was foreign to us.
Membership intake process.
So I just like to say, thank you for all of my brothers. I love y'all, and I greatly appreciate being a part of y'all because y'all have made me who I am today. The success that I had because I looked at all the families that you guys come from, as well as the things that you were doing in college was much different than I ever known. So that helped me to want to succeed because I came from a lot, and I learned a lot from y'all to help me grow. So I always say that's instrumental to me, and that'll always be a part of me. I'm hoping to be here another 25 years so I can say I am because of who we were collectively.
Ashe, brother.
Shale.
Ashe.
And I'll say that I didn't know much about Kappa, but I did know because I played in the Guy Wright program. And I always give a shout out to Mr. Pritchett, who was my elementary school.
Bancroft Elementary.
Pritchett.
He was a pillar in our community, especially coming from the east side of Wilmington, as well as just.
More than one side of Wilmington?
See, we always got jokes.
It's a town.
But anyway, Mr. Pritchett, he was
Yeah.
like a mentor to a lot of people.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
played in the basketball league, and we played for the basketball team Kappa Alpha Psi. So, right. So when I graduated high school, and he said, "What am I going to do?" I said, "I'm not going to."
1915.
That's it. And I said I wasn't going to college my first year because I had to get myself together because of where I grew up at. So he said, "Well, when you get yourself together and you get to Lincoln, you pledge Kappa." So I end up going through, and the first meeting that we had, as far as like the membership meeting, I saw all of y'all, and I said, I gotta be a part of this because I've never been around so many folks who come from great families. I've never been around so many folks who were trying to achieve so much, and then just the experience of that because we got two Mr. Lincolns on our line, so they're the great
You mean
things.
one, right?
But anyway, but I will say, throughout the journey, I've just learned a whole lot, and I still get teary-eyed, as I said, because of all the things that you guys have given me. Like I said, you give me something that I wasn't familiar with, sharing, brotherhood, and just being a part of something. And I always say, me and Tio, we took a lot being way in the back of the line.
There you go.
I'll stop there.
Oh no,
You learn how to lotion your ankles with those tears.
Oh, man. Teron, that was heartfelt, man. I
So,
really
Mr. Debno,
appreciate that.
Mr. History Major,
That's dope. That's dope.
Dr. Wachuku.
That's dope.
So, everybody, I'm Corey Devin.
I think my road to Kappa was a lot different than anybody's in here because I'm the only one on our line whose legacy.
Yeah.
So, you know, my dad's a Newt. One of my favorite cousins in life is a Newt. You know, so I had that in my life early on. So I wanted to be what they were. You know, there's no bigger role model in my life than my father. So anything he was, I wanted to be. You know, so
You gonna be a preacher too?
no, I gamble way too much. I'm a heathen. Drink way too much for any of that.
Offering plate to the horseshoe.
No, see,
Still alive.
we can fight to the ADP now. Couldn't fight us now.
You can't beat me.
All right, but you know, what this has brought me is, you know, met some lifelong friends. You know, met some people who, you know, there's qualities in each one of these men that I take to my life. You know, some, you know, a lot. They're all great parents. They're all great men. They all have done great things. You know, Reggie still owes me a fair one in front of Houston. But you know what I'm saying?
Like, we can do it.
You know, Reggie still owed me a fair one. You know what I'm saying? And then the biggest thing too is that at the best of times in our lives, when we had children, when we got married, these are the people who were there. You know what I'm saying? And at the worst of times in life, these are the same people who were there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'd like to, you know, so we've seen each other through the ups and downs, and there's still nothing that's going to come between most of us that's going to stop us from ever, you know, being a unit, you know. So, you know, we'll talk more.
It's crazy. Like after
Curve to the
25
top.
years, we all are still here. Like every last one of us.
Every single last one.
Nobody has any major diseases. We haven't experienced death amongst us. We haven't like.
I don't know about major diseases.
You know, I reeled that one back in. That didn't age well.
We have
But like, that one didn't age well. Okay. But with that being said, it's like
It's being
We-
cock
we-
out of disease.
we all still celebrating each other. Like after 25 years, we all still here.
The curve
great.
to the B.
All right, so I don't know how to follow any of this, right? Because being born and raised in Trinidad, there was no exposure.
From Philly.
Can we have the subtitles?
Nah, not from Philly,
We
but
need some subtitles after this.
being born and raised in a foreign country, you don't have the level of exposure to a fraternity that you may need, right? You don't have examples that you may follow, so you have to set the trends that you may want to set. With fraternities, welcome, Dre. With fraternities,
David,
I was never exposed to it growing up, but while in high school in Philadelphia, University City to be exact, Lou Williams, I'm gonna shout him out. Lou Williams was my dean of students at University City, and
David.
the man that he presented himself as led me to a lot of examples, and set the tone and tempo that I could follow. While at Lincoln, I met some other people who were influenced by him, and they were from Westchester University. We follow up with that because that was a great location that we connected with and we built strong relationships with, and they are part of the triangle. But growing up with three sisters, I didn't have that example of male leadership or male bonding to show fraternity, right? So a lot of it was, okay, how are you going to mold yourself, and how are you going to build yourself as an individual to be a leader in the upcoming future? So I had to take really a reflective step and look at it. I've known Epheus, Jack, Dave, Fred, Corey since 1996. Some people I've known since 97, so 98. So it's definitely where I'm building a lot of relationships to say, project myself to where I'm at now. And I'm very much appreciative to all y'all because I never had an actual brother, but I have 22 brothers to say, I love you, I appreciate you.
21.
21.
21 brothers.
21 brothers.
That's
I
for sure.
love you and I appreciate.
Yeah, he's including
Well,
Earl.
I'm talking about it.
We'll
It's
count.
really 24, but really,
Right.
Ephraim.
Ephraim is the 20. Right.
Big shout out to Ephraim.
Yeah. So definitely.
Egos.
Yeah, I
Emo
definitely
Nation.
heard from him today. So Ephraim was a big part of our process, and most definitely thank you, Ephraim. Big shout out to you.
I was able to build strong relationships with a lot of these brothers. And they are where I am now, especially in Maryland, because a lot of people invited me and say, come down, you can do this, and you are here. And I'm here now because of who they are. And I'm a reflective of everybody in my line because I've taken some pieces of everything that they have done to apply it to what I know and what I can do.
So we all have stories. We all have our journey. Like, how did we get to where we are, right? As Noops, as a line.
Oh, hold up, Dave. I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the juggernaut that just walked in the room super late. Andre Stokes.
Andre Stokes.
He in here. He in the building. He claimed he ain't getting on camera, but this, there you go. That's my guy right there.
Get the wine, go. Get the wine.
He's still as happy and soft as can be. That's a real say.
And at Dino's wedding,
Great.
he came down the aisle like Dwayne Wayne, trying to get witness.
It's my guy.
Line brothers
my
in the
guy.
background, number 20, Andre Stokes and stuff like that. So yeah, Dre. Yeah,
Yo.
but you're late, but it's cool.
So the question is, how did you come to Kappa? That's what the question
Can
is.
you come sit down if you get squeezed in?
What brought you to Kappa? Just take the microphone if you don't want to be on camera.
Man, come on.
You can have a seat, right?
All right, quick question. All right, how I came to Kappa was I used to work at this barber shop in Philadelphia called Joseph Donahue Barber School, and me and my brother and my best friend worked there. We cleaned up on Saturdays and Sundays, and a brother worked there. He was the son of the owner, named Kevin Williams, good brother fraternity, and he introduced me to Kappa. Just every Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, being there, talked about fraternity, how the brotherhood, the bond, the achievement, fellowship, and all his stories from college and everything. And hearing about it, that's just something I wanted to be a part of. So when I got the Lincoln, that's what I sought out. I looked for it, and I found it in my brothers. I found it on campus. I found it in my friends on my line. And next thing you know, hey, I'm there pledging with these guys, and here I am.
Membership
5 years
intake
later.
process.
Membership intake process.
Yes, intake.
Yes.
There you go.
So
Intake.
here's the context. Here's the context I want to give everybody. You do not, very rarely, and I'm sure other people who are more plugged into the frat on a daily basis than I am. Wendell, right? Is that I just don't think that you see I don't think you see 22 cats cross again.
Not in the North.
No. Listen. But listen, through a membership intake process. I'll leave it at that, right? On top of that, 22 finishing, right? And 25 years later, that all of us are still here.
Hot, man.
One of the things that we were talking about just at dinner is that it's an anomaly. Yeah. We don't want to be morbid about it, but the fact of the matter is that we are outliving the numbers, right? And we all came together for a common purpose, but we all have this individual approach to it, right? So I remember when I got on campus and in 96, and then I was straight coming from prison, and then Jack is Mr. Lincoln in 97. I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna follow him? Or how in the hell I'm gonna follow him, right? And
With no talent.
because I was the antithesis.
no violin.
I was the antithesis of Jack. I didn't play an instrument. I faked it, playing the trumpet.
You still have my trumpet.
I'm not sure of that, right?
Might win some, but you less lost one.
Yeah, right. So I didn't play an instrument. I faked it. I wasn't a virgin at the time, right? Wow. No shout out, Jack. Wow. So I was in this antithesis, right?
Wow.
Shots fired.
Right?
Ain't
It wasn't even it's not even science,
Stop
right?
though.
It's admiration. Okay. The admiration was Jack was the pillar of where I wanted to be. I didn't get to Lincoln without Ephesus because I was in prison emailing, not even email. I was sending letters to colleges because they took 42 scholarships away from me. And when I got to Lincoln is because Ephesus said I was going to Lincoln. And I remember your mom took you up, right? And Mr. Earl, Stefan's grandfather, took me up, right? But now we're like doing the journey, right? So for transparency, I remember, what was it? I don't know, one of those times, 2007, 2008, 9, 10, whatever the case may be. I wanted to kill myself. I called Fred and I called Corey. They came up and stopped me. I remember in 2016, I was having an issue in my, no, when your mom died, do you know? Your dad, it was your dad.
Yeah, it was my father.
It was your father. So I reached out to Dino. His father had just died. I asked him, I'm having a family crisis. And he still drove down after his dad died. Earl, you talk me off the ledge all the time. You know what I mean? Reg has been a pillar for so many years. Curb has impacted my life so many times, right? So think about for a moment, what has the brotherhood meant to you? So Evius, 25 years later, what has the brotherhood meant to you?
You mind if I jump in? Yeah, I just got because it's on my heart.
Has also been a pillar to the Banks family.
Jeffrey
Banks.
I know.
Yeah,
Jeff.
I
can't be serious.
I would definitely have to say that one of the best things about our line is that we can crack on each other in a heartbeat, and then we could come back together and just fellowship. So go.
So Dino, what's on your heart?
So what's on my heart is this. And I'm sorry, I know he's trying to go around in an order, but we beat the odds. Yeah. Like when I was coming up in Baltimore, they said you weren't gonna make it to C25.
I got 18, yo.
And I'm 25 years later in a fraternity. They said that you weren't gonna see 25. Like literally, you're gonna be a result of gang violence, of crack, of everything that was fucking negative. That was negative from the 80s. You know what I mean? And you were gonna be a result of that because you live in the inner city of Baltimore. And we have 21 other people other than myself that is a testament that we made it. All that stuff that they were talking about, the war on drugs and everything like that, we all beat the odds. So it was all lies. You know what I mean? And we made it. We have 22 examples of people who made it. And like, if we can do it, who can't do it? We all are responsible fathers in our lives, in our children's lives. We all impact the community. I don't know one of us that have not impacted the community in one way, shape, or form. Like, none of us. Nobody's selfish. We're all out for making the world better. So, I'm sorry, and I know you got to order way you want to do things, but, I mean, we beat it. Cause it's like, shit.
Can you pass it to the man on the floor?
Good gracious. Yeah. It is what it is, man.
Floor shirt.
And I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about it because I came from a bad school that I didn't have any hope.
You went to City. How are you going to talk about you went to a bad school? You went to City, homeboy.
Middle school.
That's when they went to City.
Started telling me that I wasn't going to make it. Yes. I went to William H. Lamel Middle School, and I made it. Thank you. Yes.
What's Toronto?
But I did go to the great Baltimore City College High School, home of the Black Knights. Thank you very much. All right.
Everybody's so creative.
You went to the bathroom or left?
Yeah. So I do want to kind of add to that. I think that if we raised our hand and if we were asked that same question, how many of us was told by somebody in our school that we were not enough, that we would not go anywhere? I was told to go to community college. I got 3 degrees now. So it's like...
And you taught me how to iron my clothes.
That's it. That's very true.
He taught me how to iron my clothes.
It's very, very true. It's very, very true. But I think, but no, I think that like 25 years, I know we're going to get to this a little bit more, but 25 years of brotherhood, we pretty much, as a group, we are a godsend. Let's not even downgrade. At this point, we really do have to accept that we were godsend, not only to Epsilon chapter, to the frat, to Lincoln in the community, but pretty much we are a blessing, straight up. Because when we came back on the yard, we ran everything. We had presidents of we ran everything, including up to Mr. Lincoln. So what the brotherhood meant to me, or means to me, is the ability to be able to be an example, to reach back, to be that shining light to someone else. We have each other's backs. We will continue to have each other's backs, and we continue to help each other and push each other. I think that's what brotherhood is all about. So for me, that's where we stand as brother, and that's what the brotherhood meant to me 25 years later.
Reg and Earl, what does brotherhood mean to you? My front.
So I don't know if I can necessarily explain what brotherhood means to me, but I will say, if I could, this would be the exemplar, in the sense that I'm an introvert, and this was a very unique opportunity that I never knew would like consume so many years of my life, but it's very much appreciative, because I think through all of the experiences and all of the unique opportunities and personalities, you get to learn a little bit more about, ourselves as well as each other. But I do want to say to you, Dave Heiber, that it is remarkable and impressive when you note like where you started and where you are now.
Amen.
That is a trajectory that is
Stop trying to make me
miraculous.
cry, yo.
No, let's call it what it is. But the reality is I mean, it's not much to savor to be at the top and stay at the top. But when you like through your strife and struggle and experiences, and you find a way, a niche, or something. I mean, you're just grabbing and holding on and
throwing the boot at you.
And throwing the boot. Now, I think we're both glad that it didn't hit me. But I mean, like, this is great. This is great, and it's something even for me to aspire, to be like. Although we are very much grown, you still learn life lessons, and I just say I appreciate you, and I don't want you to start doing all that teardrop shit. But yeah, like, this is just a very unique, remarkable experience where everything that could have went wrong didn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, Earl, like, you didn't have to.
No.
I mean, it just.
I had to, man.
It just. I don't know how this worked. It had signs of failure like every day, and it just worked.
Yeah.
So I'm just thankful for all of my brothers, all of my line, just because everybody contributes in their own unique way, and all of the contributions are valuable in itself. So thank you.
Earl,
So look,
Earl, when you talk, I also want to hear the story about why you said yes.
okay, all right. So
Oh no, we gotta give background to this. So we were 22 people trying to pledge each other, trying to learn each other's birthdays. No, we were
Membership
we were in
intake.
July. No, we were in membership intake.
Membership
Yes.
intake
In
process.
Freddie D in Jelani's room. Shout out to my back. Still love you wherever you are. Yes. Learning each other's birthdays. Because I don't know any of them. I still don't
Parents.
know. Yeah, I still don't know the founders. I give you 8 out of 10, right? But
I've got a reminder in the car if you need to learn the founder.
yeah, but I knew. So I remember. Shout out to my cousin Stefan, who was online in 96, 97. He dropped, and I knew about New Z. But I knew about Little Mike because I saw Little Mike
Dr. Hannon.
Yeah, I saw Little Mike step at Christiana High School.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about it and stuff like that. So I remember. I remember. I was like, yo, and all y'all know, I was like, yo, I just came out of prison. I'm not pledging.
Mm-hmm.
I said that. I was like, I'm not pledging.
Membership.
But then somebody on our campus, someone who wanted us to learn the Sweetheart song and some blah blah blah. Right? I was like, yo, right down the road is some people that can get us right. So I remember this journey. It was me, and shout out to our number 9, Umar. We drove down and we saw Adrian.
We saw Age, yep.
We saw Age, and we were like, yo. And we was like, yo, shout out to my number.
Shout out to Epheus, because Epheus was the one who set that.
And I was like, yo, like we were trying to get down. I'm not sure what it's gonna look like. And we went to y'all. Age was like, yo, I can't because he had boys already.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we got to get with somebody.
Let him jump in there.
So look,
real quick. They put us down with somebody, but you turned us down.
so
and there it goes from there.
So here's where it was. Age called.
Say he turned us down.
It wasn't turning down. So put in perspective, I graduated from University of Delaware in '96. I had been working for 2 years, working with adjudicated youth, at-risk youth. Look, I was at Ferris and Glen Mills working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I knew the importance of making sure that a membership intake process was number one. It was organized, it had to be thorough, and it had to be inclusive. So when Age called me, Robert Adrian Davis, number 5 of spring 1996,
yes.
of New Z chapter, Age called me. He was like, yo, Dean, because I'm their dean. And they were like, yo, we got the situation over here where these gentlemen, they're already brothers of the organization, but they'd like to learn more. And I said, well, who's going to teach them? He said, Jeff. Shout out to
Jeff.
Diameter Jeffrey Akala, number 4 of spring 1996, New Z chapter. And I wanted to make sure, because Jeff had never been the head of or been responsible for bringing in the line.
Yes.
And I wanted to make sure he had the proper amount of support. So that is why I say, look, I can't be the dean of the line, but I'll be the ADP. I'm working full time. At the time, Lawrence Stephen McSeed II.
Yes, 92.
Yo, spring 92.
Larry.
Of the New Z chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, New Z chapter. Anyway, look. So I say, look, they just have to be, I need to be involved. Because number one, the reason why I needed to be involved, I wanted to make sure nothing happened to the Epsilon chapter, because you all had just gotten back. Xenogenesis, new beginning. I wanted to make sure that chapter, single letter chapter, maintained on that campus, because I always saw and held that chapter in high regard. So it was necessary. So I couldn't turn you down. It was necessary. And the reason why it was necessary is for what we're doing right now. Because this is what I feel every time I'm around New Z, but then also now every time I'm around Epsilon. Because this is not my fraternity, this is my family. And when you talk about a bond, it's easy to say and write in songs, but when you feel it like this, we are grown men. We have families, we have we have responsibilities, things like that. But when we sit down together, we're family, we're brothers. And when you feel it, that's why everybody's talking about getting emotional. Like getting emotional, teary-eyed. But yes, we will still bust somebody's behind if necessary. You know what I mean? It's not, but this is why we're here. We're here to support each other. We're here to grow. We're here to learn from each other. We're here to model proper manhood, because we were taught the wrong things. And so as we learn, as we make mistakes and things like that, we teach younger kids. I would have never thought Dave would have been in a situation he's in right now where he is,
hell no.
Like the organization that he's developed and the company's developed, I wouldn't have thought about that. But like, this is why I did it. This is why I had to do it. And I am so honored and blessed to see where you all are. And even though I was working all the time and, I got to give a shout out to KG also, Kappa Gamma chapter, Westchester University. All the brothers at KG that helped out.
The twins, Sloan.
Held down with that house.
Their process, I'm telling you, their process was everybody came together.
Shout out to
to
Ghost.
make
my
sure.
purse.
Yeah, man.
So it was like every night the whole northeastern province wanted to come out and
Y'all needed to
help us with our membership intake process. It was almost like they wanted our downfall. Like every single night, like we're going to break this line, and it did not happen.
So I think one of the
But that
most
shows the love of the daggone province.
one of the most unique things that happened to us after we finished our membership intake process, our reception to the campus when we crossed was good. When we came back the following year, it was very tepid. We had to kind of prove ourselves to the campus. Right. Yes. Yeah. No, it was very tepid. So I could remember our first party that we had. Nobody from campus.
That's the whole thing was off campus.
Off campus. It was
because I didn't even come.
Right.
Me and Umar went down to my basement and was like, "We're not going to that."
We were so shook because everybody on campus had left because at that time Lincoln had buses. Everybody on campus left. We were like, we were literally like, what are we gonna do? But we had promoted that party so much. I remember that party was jam packed. I couldn't
you talking about at the auxiliary gym.
At the auxiliary gym.
Lincoln from alumni.
My comments is over.
Definitely.
So Jack,
Shout out to the battered women and children of Oxford.
Westchester.
there you go.
Newman College.
So
Shout out.
yeah. So no, Jack. Like real talk. Like no bullshit. No cap, right? They said no cap. I believe so. Yeah, no cap.
That's young people's language.
My
Before we got to the party, when we got to New Z, right, we were anxious. We wanted to know what was up about the membership intake process. So I asked, what's the brother's name? Jamie or whatever? Yeah, like, what's up? I said, you a Kappa, right? You don't remember that? I said, you a Kappa, right? So what's up? And then we learned what was up in the membership intake process. But anyway, all that I had to say,
Don Rich Young learned firsthand.
Since we didn't get an opportunity to kind of talk about, sort of like what Kappa meant to us. And honestly, again, I did not necessarily know anything about fraternities and all that sort of thing. I came to Lincoln with fringy jeans and tie-dyed shirts and my fist in the air, talking about what African people did, And like I said, I didn't like what the Greeks did to African people, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, long story bearable, I met these brothers, and really I had an opportunity to really learn what leadership was, being a part of an organization that really ran the campus. I was a part of 22 organizations and, conflicting agendas and all sorts of things, and really learned about leadership. Had my first opportunity to lead the organization, even at during 1 year, following the lead of my former Promarch. But anyway, long story bearable, like I said, I knew that we all had the ability to read, write, think, and computer levels that were competitive and all of that sort of thing. So college was not necessarily the issue, but I really wanted to know about leadership and about sort of like the purpose of doing this. And I really learned that through this organization. I just wanted to say that. But you were going to ask something. I apologize.
Good job, Jack. Good job.
Real quick. So can we not speak about the fact that this brother here played for the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, played the violin. And it
Triple
was
major.
Honorable Louis Farrakhan
Triple major.
that really said that this brother is a talented violin player. So I don't want to
Violinist.
negate that as well. So
And he
a
still-
lot of gems that happen during
He
our
still
time.
performs today. So if he had the violin might be in the trunk of the car. If he want to run out and get it,
If
he can perform
Concentrix
something
wants to
else.
do some gigs, then we can.
But no,
foundation.
Jack has been a how can we say a example of where leadership stands out, because not only the triple major, he also was a campus leader. So he really and truly set the tone of where brothers should be and what they can accomplish. Just by putting the energy forward. At the triple major, he took on 20 to 21 credits, and I remember us having that conversation, riding back and forth from Lincoln to Philly, where he was like, "Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna handle this." But his drive and his motivation was there. You know,
music classes. That's right.
Laser
Yo, Dino and Corey, you know we are live on the phone.
Dave.
We got 8 people watching.
So really quick, I just want to say just about like my whole brotherhood experience.
We got 8 viewers.
I will definitely say that Kappa helped me find myself. So a lot of y'all know about my backstory.
Is that when you let them in the room?
I did not let her in the room. I will definitely
Pure as the driven snow.
Yes. Okay. So I mean, y'all know. I mean, most of my upbringing was in Tannersville, PA. Right. So a lot of when I grew up, I was almost embarrassed of who I was. Like I didn't like people knew I was Haitian, but they didn't really know. I didn't really express it. A lot of it was really trying to assimilate. I remember going up to Jack. No, Jack asked me a question. He was like, "Fred,
Are you black?
what do you know about Black History Month?" And I told him, I was like, I don't even want to say what I told him, but it was not good.
Carter,
And do you guys remember when we were in African American Studies class and Chuck asked,
You talking about the big seminar class?
yeah. You remember the question Chuck asked? And I was like, nah. I said, I'm Haitian. He was like, you're not African? I was like, no. And he was just like, what do you?
Strong genes.
So I'm saying all this because just in the conversations and just in the brotherhood that I have here, I mean, it really helped me find myself in the years, not only after I crossed, but also, you know, up until the point that I am now. And I mean, I can honestly say that every person in this room has affected my life in some form or fashion, and I am grateful for that.
I'm glad you said that. So let's think about this, right? So 22 people cross. We're not like that doesn't happen anymore, right? Not
Not in the north.
That doesn't happen.
In the south,
anymore, right?
it happens, but not in the north.
Yeah. So now let's think about this. Now we go into adulthood, right? We go into grad school. We go into fatherhood. We go into marriage and all these different aspects, right?
You just eating red mints now?
Yeah, I know, right? Red mints, right?
Gotta have them on pocket.
No.
That's what we thought.
So I'm curious about this, right? So with what we learned online, all right, to what got us through our 20s, because I truly believe there's a transition in your 20s, in your 30s. Now we're in our 40s, getting into our 50s soon, right? Many of us look much older than 40s. We're in our 50s. We look like we're in our 50s, right? But what?
I beg your pardon.
Yeah. What did you learn, or what did we learn during our process that took us through our 20s and 30s and now into our 40s? So for me, to give context, is that what I have to realize that there's 2 pillars to my life. Fraternity, because 93% of my staff are frat. 93% of my staff are frat. Whether it be from Epsilon, whether it be from AI, whether it be from Towson, wherever they come from. Because how important it is to me. Like, what are some of those things that we learned online, or you learned online, that got you through your 20s, 30s, and now into your 40s? Because we've had a lot of different things. I want to give it to Corey, because Corey, you were one. We're going through deaths now, right? So shout out to Mateo, rest in peace, his father. When you lose your parents, I lost my parents when I was 17 before I got to Lincoln. But when you lose a significant, it changes you, it impacts you, right? Dino, like, so it's me, you, and Tio that we say we're orphans now, right?
Orphans.
We're orphans. What did going through the process? You Jack, yeah.
I'm good.
Brought you through what you, yeah.
The fuck.
Yeah, no, it's real talk. No, that's real talk. Because what I had to do to give you all context is when people start losing people in their 20s and 30s, I was like, yo, hell with y'all. I lost people when I was in my teens. Like I didn't have empathy, but I've seen it now. So what has it done for you, Corey?
So
I guess one of the biggest things I learned was that nobody comes before your brother, right? So as I do it in my professional life, or let's just talk about my family. Nobody comes before your family. You know what I'm saying, in your household. You know what I'm saying? But I take, even if I dare somebody to say something ill about one of y'all. I dare them to say it about any of y'all, or they're gonna have a problem with me. You know, so I take that to work, like, you know, with the people who I supervise, but also with the people who are my colleagues. I dare you. You're not gonna come to me with nothing raw about one of my colleagues, because we work together. You know what I'm saying? So we a unit. So one of the biggest things I learned was how to be a unit, how to support one another, how to keep what's in-house business in-house. You know what I'm saying? And to be with everybody at their worst moments. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had worse moments in the times we've been together. You know what I'm saying? And you really know who, gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I can, name the people in this room who was there, when I was at my worst moment. You know what I'm saying? So when stuff like things happen with Dino or Fred or anybody, you know what I'm saying, I make it my business to support. You know what I'm saying? I make it my business to reach out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important. You know what I'm saying? So it's I mean, that's the biggest thing to me, that there's nothing that's bigger than this. And whenever we teaching the new people who come afterwards, there's nothing bigger than this, And I think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit, because think about what's happened since 98.
Yeah.
Think about what has happened for Epsilon since 98.
That's right.
So just think about that.
What thing, Red?
I think
I
that
just want to touch your beard, though.
this experience. don't do
Feel
that.
it, get
No, but you know what? I think one sort of unique experience that I kind of gleaned from all of this is that sometimes you expect, by the connection that you have with people, that they will do a certain thing, right? Like, so for instance, if you have family, you expect for them to be there in your time of need. Well, that's not always the case, right? I mean, realistically, that's not always the case. But this experience sort of like taught me that blessings can come from unexpected places. So it doesn't necessarily need to be your blood. You can still be blessed through connections that were just like, through a fraternity. And sometimes, for some people and some families, these bonds are stronger than the blood ones. And so that, for me, I think was sort of like a quintessential lesson that I learned.
You good.
Dave's been real successful. Is the air working in here?
You're like, yo, it ain't nobody in these couches.
I've actually cooled down some.
So can we turn the air up? Like,
Yo, Dro, where the air, Dro? Dro, where the air? Dro, where the air?
I'm sorry.
Where the air?
We got one person under 2 chairs.
Dro, where the air? Dro, where the air? Dro, where the air?
Is the air working?
He's near.
Nobody really answered my question.
No, I'll get Dro one. I'll get Dro. Yeah. No, it's a light. It's a light. It's a light.
Hold on. Let me.
But I feel nothing.
No. But here's what's honest. So I'm thinking about this as we go through it. Right? Is that like really what is success? Success is not materialistic. It comes and goes. We all know that, right? Success is fleeting at the moment, but it's about brotherhood. Is like, who can I call? I got a text message. It was from you last week, right? Okay. You were like, I'm driving down Light Street. I saw your building. Congratulations, bro. Yo, to be recognized by your peers is probably one of the greatest compliments that you can get, right? Where we all share in our success. And, like, we are a small part of a larger line. Right. And there's a lot that can't be here today. And thinking about what we have accomplished individually, right? collectively, if we could look back 25 years ago, what do you think, if anything, we could have done differently, if not better?
You switched it up. You switched it all the way up. We didn't even get a chance to talk about like grief and all sorts of things, but that's good though. It's good.
No, but
Right.
honestly, I don't think we should have changed a thing.
You don't think so?
About what?
Absolutely not.
Oh, you
All
saying
of the
keep like
manifestations put us in this space right
Indeed.
You could have changed one thing and this could
Like the butterfly
not
effect.
be a thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think it was all so for the good, the bads, the fights, and the makeups, all of that stuff played a part into
I'm sorry.
who we are today.
I'm sorry for throwing the boot at you.
That's fun.
We were waiting on that for years at this point. That's been years in the making, so I'm glad that happened. He never apologized.
I never did. I don't apologize much.
And he's still not really apologetic.
I don't. That was sincere, right?
That's the Basil Hayden. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I literally, within the past 6 months, lost 3 of my close friends from high school. Like literally. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about transition and, grief and coping and all this sort of thing, I think it's really a blessing that we're all here. There are many people who have helped to see me, and really kind of lift me up and hold me in the light during my lowest times as well. You know what I mean? Brothers that are here, brothers that I don't even talk to as much, Jeff, Wendell, all sorts of, people who are really
other Wendell.
I said it to be funny, but I'm also saying that they were a pivotal part of my life and my upbringing, really. Honestly, without them, there really is no me. So I just honestly wanted to really not necessarily just really glaze over the moment that was made when, I don't know if you mentioned it, that we're all still here. That's really a blessing.
But what you just did was unique, right? And I think what you just did, right, is that here's what's so interesting, is that when you have brothers together, and there is really, other than you, Earl, no deference, right? Like, you could just pivot. So I could try to go one direction and be like, no, we're not going in that direction as a line. And you'd be like, hell with it. We're not, no, the line just said, we're not going in that direction. Like, that's humbling in the sense that all of us are leaders in our own rights. When you don't have to be the leader. Yeah. When you could just be a part of the village. Yep. Right? And so, for me, it's just when we can try to get everybody together, and it's never going to happen, right? 22, if you get 20 out of 22, that's happen. Right? At some point, right?
It has not happened. It happens.
But
I'm close several times.
But when you get a lot of cats together, right? There is, and this is what I don't think a lot of people will understand out in the audience, right? Unless you went through a membership process, and y'all can say that when you pledge, when
membership
you pledge, right?
process.
Yeah, that's true, right? Is when, like, literally months and years can go by, and the moment you connect, it's like you never disconnected, right? And it's just so seamless, and everybody in this sense where we have to all be guarded in our lives, when we can go out, come together, and just be completely vulnerable. And it's not about who is in charge and stuff like that. It's like it's so liberating. And like like this is what you need daily, right? The jokes, right? The vulnerability, the just calling people out and stuff like that. Like it's the what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So
yes, that too.
So
right?
no.
What do you think, Dino? Right.
So here's my take. Right. The question was what you think sustained it so long?
Yeah.
And
Brock, can you blur out the Federal Bureau of Investigations on?
Well, with that being said, I mean it's literally easy for us. It's the 4 points of the diamond. God is first. Family is second. Fraternity and community.
That's the fourth one?
We learn to live on these 4 principles. We know that we can accomplish anything. Yeah. I mean, there's a saying in the Quran, and it say, people of the book unite. And that's any book. That's the Bible, that's the Quran, that's the Torah. That's whatever tenement that you subscribe to that gives you that higher being, higher knowledge of self, higher knowledge of earth. We're all brothers of the book. Whether or not we have the same religion, but we're all brothers of the book. We put God first. The next thing is family. You can't tear none of us from our families. We got people that's late getting here because we're dealing with family issues. You know, when family issues happen where we lost somebody that was significant to us, or all of a sudden end up being an orphan, or end up being a single dad, you know, that's family first. And we all knew that that's the second pillar. We got to get there for family. The next thing, you know what I mean, we got is our fraternity. We all looking within each other. So we got God first, who is our shield. We got our family, who is our protection. Then we got the fraternity. We armed for war. We can go out now and impact the community. We can go out now and make all these changes that we want to see. We can go out now and change the narrative of us dying before we 18, before we 21, before we 25. And we're all sitting here today.
Yeah.
That's our secret. And it ain't nothing that none of us already know.
Right.
It's out there.
Some of it is new.
You know? It is what it is. Sometimes we fight like family and we get right back together. Like Corey say, you can't say nothing about my daggone line brother where I ain't gonna pretty much want to slap you in the face, punch you in the mouth.
You said it yourself.
You know what I mean? Period. And I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
But amongst each other, we might laugh and joke, but I ain't gonna let you say it.
Right.
I ain't gonna let nobody else say it. Period. And these are the things that we learn. These are things that sustain us for 25 years past and hopefully 25 years to come.
So, you know, one of the things that Dave did mention was, and kind of Reggie piggybacked on it, was what would we change? And, you know, Reg hit it right on the head of the
right
nail.
on the head.
I wouldn't change anything. If it wasn't for you, I would not be here. Literally, because you said,
Fred.
yeah, because Dina was like, hey, look, there's an opportunity for you to come do this internship down in Gilman. You trying to
let's get this little bit of money we got.
I ended up staying at your house and your house for that whole summer of '98. Because of that, I had such a great experience here. You called me up with Umar and was like, hey, they're hiring teachers down here. I know you have a biology degree. They're hiring you guys like crazy. Come down. They have a fair, and it literally led me to where I am today. Kirby kept on nagging me. Fred, when are you going to finish your master's? You've been at Hopkins for how many years? You've been taking how many classes? Finish your master's. Literally. And you know, Reg, I stayed at Reggie's house when I first got down here. Yeah, when I first got down here.
No, I remember Reg came down and stayed on the couch.
Yeah. And then I ended up staying with Reg. So, you know, this bond has done so much to and you know what? Literally, the bond helped me realize I needed to get married. But that's a whole other story. Thank you, Slap, because
Epsilon
we
at
had
the
a
dark.
long conversation about that. But literally,
Epsilon at the dark. That's the next podcast.
But literally, that, I mean, the bond has helped me out so much in just in life in general, and I can literally relate. And even when Jack crashed my car, when he was going up the hill, and it was you, but yeah,
Nissan,
yes, it was you. You were driving, but that's okay. That's a story for neither here nor there. But literally, the bond has helped me out in every particular situation. And, you know, literally, I could not have done it without all of y'all, literally.
So this is what I'm thinking about.
Hold up, Dave. Hold up. Because I wanna piggyback on what Fred said, because at some point we all were
Exactly.
Jack, you stupid, but I ain't gonna call you that. We all had to rely on the backs of our brothers, and for me,
Pause.
with all sisters, no pause, because it's really a supporting role.
Back.
Right? It's a supporting role, nothing else.
No, there's no pause. This is let's go. Keep going. Come on.
So it was a supportive role of where we truly, how can I say, humble ourselves and allow ourselves to be vulnerable to rely on somebody else. Fred relied on Dave relied on somebody else. I relied on Fred, I relied on Dave, I relied on Reggie. So it's to a point where if you don't have a brotherhood, and mind you, I grew up with all sisters, so it's to the point where you got sisters, man.
Yeah, he got sisters.
Because I have to mention it because the influence I had is not the positive influence from my uncles, which I grew up with also. And my influence on my uncles is Robin Steele.
Hey, shout out,
right?
Trevor.
No, that's no weed. That's
No.
But no, Dave, give me a second. But it's the matter of us being able to support each other as we grow individually. Yeah. Nobody is where they need to be unless they rely on somebody else to say help them get there. And I know for myself, I needed to rely on Fred. I was relying on Reggie. I was relying on Dave. I even relied on Dino and Corey because moving to Baltimore was a big challenge to me, and I didn't know anything about it besides partying at Hammerjacks or anything else.
Hammerjacks.
Yes, I'm gonna throw it out there. Clubs back in 1999.
Back in the day,
I was partying in these clubs, and that's all I knew. I didn't know anything professional, and these. Ojo wasn't in Baltimore. Ojo was in Philly. I left Philly by that time, okay? But I left Philly in that time. Yeah.
Shout out to our 19 Ojo.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ojo
was
Promise.
there, and Ojo relied on me. I didn't rely on Ojo.
Spell it backwards, Ojo.
Spell it backwards, Ojo. But no, definitely, I feel like everybody, you have to have that system of support, whether you want it or you don't want it. But in this organization, I was able to say, get it even when I don't want it. Or when I feel like I didn't need it, it was there readily available to say, this is what you can do and this is what you should do because they did it before. Shout out to Ojo because Ojo, he was there in Philly when he needed it. Yeah.
So look,
can I just say this one little piece?
Listen. So we're gonna
say the one little piece. Say the one little piece.
Closing comment.
Say the one little piece, right?
All right, so this will be my closing comment. A perfect example of this brotherhood and how it bettered me was prior to this, I could not stand Nuruddin Muhammad.
Wow.
Let's be clear.
Why?
I don't literally have a legitimate reason.
It's because I was from Baltimore.
I think you were from Baltimore. I was from
Philly cats hate Baltimore cats.
Probably those Durangos.
But let me tell you.
It's probably them Durango
where
boots
this journey
and all that
landed.
percolating.
So through this process, I've learned to humble myself. I respected the fact that there were spaces that you helped me, you supported me, and then just throughout the relationship that we build, I mean, eventually grew to love you. I think that was around like 2022, but still,
Wow.
but no, it's real. It's real.
Okay. Dino, closing comments.
Oh, we
Rest?
got closing comments. Damn. I'll wait. I can't. It's a lot. I'm a pass it. I'm a pass it to King of Zamunda. I'm sorry. I'm a pass it to Ephesus Davis III.
Rock, make sure you don't get his Adidas in there.
Yeah. Don't get my Adidas.
That's what they are.
No. Adifius.
So
Yeah.
So to just show us where we are in 2023, had you been in my new country of residence, Ghana, I would have fined you a goat and a cow for disrespecting this chief. Watch what I say. For all my people out there that know that, they know what I'm saying.
Shout out to the goat that lived from Ghana. This is falling off the. Is this Tio? This is my
T.O. No.
You gotta come in.
Could be saying right
No,
now.
Tio, you gotta come in. Tio, you gotta come in.
Closing comments.
Tio, no, you gotta come in.
Do that.
ADP said, "Come over
Tio,
here."
let's go. Your ADP said. No, he take him
No,
out.
I got 2 guns in my car. Go ahead.
Right here.
Yeah, I think.
Tio, come on.
Yeah, Tio.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna close some comments.
No, Tio, I need you. No, I need you on that.
All right, go ahead.
So as Tio makes his way into the camera, I would definitely say that even throughout this whole conversation, it's actually been very difficult to want to talk because I know that I would get extremely emotional. But like everyone has said, I would never have done anything different. And I think we should all remember that in the beginning when we started, we all said that we're going to begin with 22 and we're going to end with 22. And there was times that we had to go and physically remove someone from a space to bring them to where they need to be. That is what I learned about this brotherhood, that we will be there for each other, do what it has to take to maintain ourselves, and we're always there to encourage each other. And for that, I'm highly thankful.
I got it. Look, the whole time we've been here, it's just been exciting for me to sit and watch y'all because this is exactly what I was thinking when y'all came to us and said, hey, look, we want to have this process where we learn a little bit more about this fraternity. It is the humility that I'm seeing. It is the level of support, the level of respect that I am seeing for you each other. Like, nobody here has to toot their own horn because their brother is going to toot their own horn. Like, you all are sharing about each other success, failure, support, love. This is what it's all about. And that's what I was envisioning when y'all came and said, hey, look, we want to get down. And I said, everybody's got to be on board. Like I said, I'm not going to do half a line. It's going to have to be 22 people beginning to end. And I felt comfortable. Like once y'all crossed, I was like, y'all gonna be good. Because I wanted to make sure, like, so there was a level of guilt that I had because I wanted to be closer to y'all.
Yeah, you fucked up.
You know what I mean? Like, I imagine. I made sure y'all was taken care of though. Talk about my son again and see what happened. You know what I mean?
Cabbage Patch.
Yo, but look, and even to say that.
He a good kid now.
He's
from
a
Hopkins.
good kid. So at 1 year old, y'all had some words to say. I think they were prompted by
I
Lawrence
apologize
Stephen
early.
Second. But if you think about it, my son went to Johns Hopkins, graduated undergrad, environmental engineering, master's environmental engineering. He's living back here in Baltimore in a firm where he does environmental engineering. But I tell him that story, he has no idea about it. But it just kind of brings me that warmth because I'm like, all right, this was part of their process. But seeing all of y'all interact with each other, continue to bond and grow. Because the thing is, we don't bring this just to be in a fraternity. We bring this to, my kids going to grow up with y'all kids. You know what I mean? This is what I thought when I came into the frat. Y'all kids are growing up with each other, or at least knowledge of each other. You know, we accept each other's attitudes every once in a while when we have an attitude. T.O.'s going to get on camera at some point.
Yeah, he about to get on camera now.
So, but it's all that, man. Like, 'cause I'm so happy to see y'all. So I'm just going to leave it with that. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to see y'all. I'm so proud of y'all. And I appreciate you all allowing me to be part of your journey. That's all I got.
Tio, can you come on camera, please?
I'm gonna go last.
Real quick.
And
Can
I'm
you get Tio?
close- I'm
You can't go.
close for Tio.
You can't go last.
I'm a closer Tio.
Yeah, but I go last, actually. That's what happens when you're the host. But
Okay, so-
Tio, can you come on, please?
So real quick while Tio is making his way over here.
Strong-ass collar.
Yes, it is very, very, very powerful. Absolutely, man.
He got the pillar.
Absolutely. So one
Need you, bro.
thing that I do have to say, like I said, this is
Yes.
this has been a great journey, 25 years, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next 25 years and definitely achievement in every field of human endeavor.
Amen.
I love and appreciate every one of you guys. Continue to.
When people give remarks, they give them 2 minutes.
Oh, you don't
You got two. You got,
Well,
that's it.
I was gonna be short and
Exactly.
sweet, yo. I was gonna be short and sweet.
Go ahead, Kirby.
I love every one of you all. Continue to strive for success. Build on your success. Build on your accomplishments. And continue to do what you have to do for family. It's always about family, and we are family.
Facts. I appreciate that. Corey?
Oh no! In all seriousness, man, I love all you guys. Tremendous fathers, tremendous uncles, tremendous brothers. You know what I'm saying? Tremendous family men. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm excited about the future, but I'm also excited about just who you are, who all of you are. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are incredible. If nobody tells you on a daily basis, you really are. And you've benefited my life to be a part of this group. All right?
Time's up,
Uncle
sir.
Phil.
Time's up.
All right, Dre.
All right, I'll finish with this. Sadate.
Dre, hold your head up straight.
Hey, you guys,
It's way too heavy.
I don't really speak much.
Levitations.
But, like I said, I'm thankful because everybody on my line has always been there for me at the most intricate parts of my lives. Like anytime I had to make a serious decision, certain brothers have always been there. Like Dave has always been there when I had to make big, heavy decisions in my life. He doesn't know it, but I told him that a while ago. And other people like Dino and Fred. And, there's people just appearing when I need to do certain things myself. But I'm thankful for the connections I have with everybody here. And, everybody's here and not here. You all been a very important part of my life. So I'm thankful for the friendship, the bond, and, that's what Kappa means to me. And I'm thankful for it all.
All right, who has to go? Rez? You want?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wanted to just shout out those who's not here. Jigga, Aaron,
Little Dale,
Motley, Jelani, Umar,
Don Rich,
Dwayne,
Al,
Jeff, Al, Big Dell, Ojo, Jeff, of course. Love you guys, man.
Yeah, much love.
I just want to say, as my last word, that the greatest testament to this successful brotherhood is the fact that my nephew just went over Kappa Alpha Psi 2023 spring of Hartford alumni. So I'm just very thankful for that, and I would like to say that I think that I serve somewhat as a model or example for him to follow in those steps.
So that was Reg's second last word, and that was his second last word, and I don't know where this voice came from. The greatest hood shit. Anyway, no. So I think it's apparent that is love and it's respect in the room. I'm sorry. What did you want to speak? Okay. I think it's apparent that there's love and respect in the room, and definitely, I'm wishing for more. I certainly think that we have made manifest the meaning of our name, Xenogenesis, which has multiple names. I think creativity is what pops out to me, and doing things a little differently and not necessarily sort of following the beaten path of, the status quo, if you will. And then also 25 is a transitional number. It's a perfect square. If you're into math and that sort of thing, 2 and 5, 7, etc. But anyway, the point is this. I just think that this definitely should continue. I hope that, actually the brothers in Baltimore, for some reason, have been exemplar and really kind of holding this brotherhood community down. As far as I'm concerned, we don't have the same type of camaraderie in Philly. We don't have the same type of camaraderie in other places. And I don't know why this was the place, because all of you are not from Baltimore. But anyway, the point is,
why did you have to point it
out?
Right, exactly. No, I'm just saying, but even though you might not be from Baltimore, you know what I mean? here, I really see the brothers from Baltimore or that are in Baltimore really holding down the community. And I think that that's important. It's a Yeoman's Hess because everybody has their way of really upholding, the tenets of Kappa and achievement and that sort of thing. Some people do things directly for the organization, the business. Some people don't, they achieve on their own. But anyway, I'm not going to keep going on with that. I just wanted to say I love and appreciate everybody. And I'll pass the mic. There we go.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
You go ahead, Dino.
T.O., can wrap it up, y'all.
Tino, I need you here. Tino.
It's kind of hard for me to summarize. It's kind of hard for me to summarize what the emotion of 22 brothers can bring to the world. It started with Jigga. It ended with Tiano. We're a perfect circle in that light. And the term, I know it may sound old and corny, but I am because we are. If it wasn't because of these brothers, I wouldn't be where I'm at. If it wasn't because of the process, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't be able to sit here and do this podcast. We wouldn't be able to sit here and heal with each other when they're going through issues. I would be
Miss.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I would
Amazing
not
criminal justice show.
if I would not mention the fact that right now we actually have a brother that's actually going through some things. And he
Which one?
don't want to be put on camera. He don't want to be a part of these things. He don't want to be seen that as a show or a spectacle or anything like that because he just is. And with that being said, we feel his energy. We got to shed this love on him and let him know that, hey, it's okay. That's what we're here for. So for every brother that's not in this circle right now, and for every brother that's not in this room, y'all know that you got another brother that's going to prop you up. That's what we're here for. That's what the bond is about. I don't know if that's my last words or not. I'm going to be honest with you, but I wouldn't be me unless these brothers was here. And power to the people.
All power to the
I am because we are.
That's an inside joke. All hands on deck.
But I am because we are is really the.
So I guess we're going to give it back to Brother Heiber.
Well, thank you, brother.
Or Reggie's Miami Vice suit. Yes.
What this means to me is that concentric is circles within circles. That's what concentric is, right? Yeah. So to me is how can we all be connected and build with each other, right? So my thought is always is that no matter the time or place will change, the situations or the circumstance may differ, but we could all rely on each other when necessary. And it's not daily, it's not weekly, it's not monthly, it could be yearly, who knows? But that you at any moment you can call on somebody and someone's there to answer. Whether it be in the time of need, whether it be in the time of sorrow, the time of celebration, the time of hurt, the time of commitment, whatever the case may be. And I think that's what we've learned. And at one point, I used to think that, well, we have 22 people, and we're so separate and we're so different. Well, 22 people with so much difference means that you can go to 22 people or 21 people in different times of needs, and someone will be there, right? And the fact that we can come together for this, the success of concentric or the success of whatever we're doing doesn't mean shit unless you can share it with somebody, and you can share it with your brothers, and that's what I wanted this to be. Like, I don't want us to take it for granted because we're getting older, because we've all lost people close or a little bit more distant, that let's not take for granted another moment that we'll have another year. Similar to what we talked about, we have beaten the odds, all right? So what this episode was supposed to be is just, it wasn't supposed to be structured. It was supposed to just be open, that concentric, as much of it is as a business, is a family. Without me crying, is that without having a family, Kappa is my family. I hold it so deep and sacred to me. So whether people are my LBs or whether my chapter brothers or we're just in the bond, it just means a lot. I appreciate all of you. All of you have sacrificed. I know most of you have worked today. Jack, thank you for coming away from Philly. Earl, thank you. I know what you had to go through. My local brothers, thank you for coming through.
Thank you, for coming from Africa.
No, I was just with that.
In Africa.
In Africa. But no, here's what's interesting.
Thank you, Eve, for making from Ghana.
I'm going to wrap it up with this. I've known Ephes since 1992. 1992. I'm on the beach in Accra having a drink with not just my line brother, but my brother. 6,000 miles away. And it was so surreal. And I wasn't lost in the moment, right? So let us not be lost in the moment of just 25 years. Let us be captured by the opportunities going forward, right? I appreciate all of you for coming through, talking, sharing, laughing, joking. If Rock could follow us, if he was not delirious with sleep or a deprivation, he could follow us to Epsilon After Dark, because it will probably get much worse. I thank all of you for coming out.
Epsilon
Thank you for joining the chair. Thank you for joining one podcast at a time. We're about to go into our series, the Soup Series. 5 straight weeks of 5 superintendents in Detroit, leading up to our dear Detroit. Talk about how Detroit has shaped me. Shout out to the D. What up, Doe? What up, Doe? I look forward to everybody for the last 5 weeks. I want to thank you. Tune in as usual to Concentric.world. The podcast is getting bigger and better. And we want to shout out to our partner, Atlas Group. Check out any one of the 26 Atlas restaurants around the Baltimore, greater Baltimore area. Look forward to seeing y'all next in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
No,
Another
thank you,
Rock
Dave.
Major
Thank
production.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.